Hi, and welcome again to another edition of Market Analysis for today, December 13th, 2023. I'm Giovanni Benacourt, analyst, trader, and educator with Vantage Markets. All right, so today is the last rate decision of the year, and it's going to be a controversial one. There's a view by Jerome Powell that has done almost everything right so far. That's the controversial view. And the Fed is expected to leave interest rates unchanged at the end of the policy meeting today, around 525, 550. So the more important news would be the release of the Fed's official rate projections for next year. So that's what to watch for. In the markets, we've seen so far that this is the Nasdaq. We are in an uptrend, a defined uptrend. Okay, so basically, here is where we're gonna come to a decision. We are trading CFDs, all right? So there's a contracts for difference of what? Of price, okay? So you wanna ask yourself what can happen to the market for the market to continue to move higher or for them to stop and drop. So on both sides, there's a lot of ammunition for both sides to make a case about that, but we are technical analysts and we are working with the momentum. So the momentum is so far showing us that it is looking to the upside, and we're seeing that the difference between the red numbers, which is the highest of the Nasdaq done back in November 2021. So that's the highest it's been. 16,750 is. So we are basically 340 pips away from it. So boom, that could happen. We could probably we could move that amount in one day and more, obviously. But will that happen? Initially, I have my resistance at 16,482, and then we have that psychological round resistance at 16,600. So then the bottom of it will be. I'm going to project it to around this node of volume. Okay, it was a lot of resistance for the market, but from the continuous this episode, but it finally broke out, and now that's where we are on that trend, right? So we have the momentum behind our back, so as we speak, so we could be in it. Then we have the S&P, which we are about 100 points away from it, okay? And that's the highest also back in November. And the one that is actually making new highs, all-time highs, is the Dow. So the Dow is into uncharted territory so far in the CFDs market, future market. So Dow 30, that is, okay? So here, at any moment, there's going to be a pullback and there's going to be a correction. Okay, how much of a correction? Well, we have this gap in here, but that could be just, we are in a demo account. But anyhow, we could drop, just fall off the cliff back down to say 36,000. Okay, a nice round psychological number. But so far, let's see if 37,200 could be up, or 37,100. You see, as far as for crude oil goes, it also traded lower today, below $68, and it rebounded from here. So let's see. I'm looking at it, and I'm saying to myself that there's gonna be most likely another continuation of this fall. If you take a look at this particular movement, okay, wait a minute. So we have the trend line. Right, let's just use this one. So we're making lower lows and higher lows consecutively, and then we found some footing where this is kind of like a hammer, if you will. Right, so market rebounded, but it didn't even covered the previous candle. You see, it took 3 days to recuperate itself, but yet it didn't recuperate enough what failed in one day. So that's why this area is that level of resistance. So here we have another drop, almost the same as and as tall and as deep as this one, as this previous one. So the change was minus 0.282, and this is 0.268. So will we see another scenario where the market will try to recover itself, or will it just now find that resistance internally right around 69, let's say, for example, and then make another attempt at dropping another 2x points down percent. So that's why I have $67 as my possible support area for it. Yeah, going short on crude oil. Then have Nat Gas. So Nat Gas is recovering. Let's see if this recovery will sustain itself around 220 and just start trading sideways. Then we have gold. Gold has, after this majestic parabolic movement, all of those who went long are happy today. But also whoever went short from this high, let's say, for example, and sustain the trade from this high. So we have 2,146 minus 1975. So that right is about 200 in change. So imagine that amount in your multiplied by lots. So that movement, easily one futures contract, that could render you about 200,000 in just one futures contract profit from this high to this low. Futures contract though. Okay. Here, depending on the lot that you chose, if you went 1, 10, 100, then imagine that you could do the calculation. So on gold, 1980 is that number that I keep on having in my mind. Psychological round number, 1980, and the market has been fluctuating above that and below that. So I'm seeing that perhaps gold is having some of that quiet time, a lot of creating a volume node here. Will it pop to the upside back up to 2000, or will it just continue dropping? And let's say, for example, go back to the low of November of last month. Okay, so that would be 1930, a $50 drop. And that could happen, or would be a $50 pop. That could also happen. You just gotta make a decision. Then we have silver, which is telling me, such a strong, bit different than gold. It is pushing lower, so I have 22.35 as my target, selling it. Copper, after such a big drop, it has been able to recuperate itself and is holding that ground. Perhaps it'll just do a lateral movement, just stay there ranging. Okay, we are in a daily chart. So, and then we have Bitcoin also in a tight channel between 42 and 41. So those scalpers, that's a pretty good point. Then we have the currencies. You're looking to stay north of 108, and then we have here the pound looking to sustain itself around 125.5. And then we have here the dollar index. Now those pops to the upside, for example, for gold, if we happen to see that the dollar index drops, making like something like this, then we're gonna see a nice pop on gold and on the currencies and the metals indeed, but mostly on gold. So keep that in mind. All right, or the other way, if the dollar index makes a pop and just makes a nice candle like this, you have seen a lot of movement in also gold to the downside. So something like that something like this will propel gold to move like it did on that parabolic movement, because that was on the 14th. That's on the 4th. Let's see, on the 4th. Well, it was something like this. You see this one on the 4th, but the dollar index jumped and gold dropped. Well, actually gold jumped, but then it dropped. So there's a correlation in there. So keep it in mind. All right. Have a nice one. Cheers.